Yo, what up, what up, what up? We are back in the building, and finally, we have come around to organize another Firestorm panel. So anytime you know Firestorm's on the horizon, you know what's about to happen. As you can see up on the screen, we have some distinguished guests already in the building, which I'll introduce here in a moment. And we also have a few others that will be coming in here within the next 15 minutes or so. So it's going to get lit. So everybody that's coming into the building early, I appreciate you. Make sure as you step in, you hit that like button, get the likes all the way up so we can tweak that algorithm so people know that we're in here talking that boxing talk, that authentic boxing talk. I want to give a shout out to the first one in the building, my man Mangus Allen, always dropping in first and foremost. We got Yoda, the Crush, in the building. What's good, my man? We got Omega Red in the building. Flawless Mentality. Always good to see you in the building. Who we got? We got Platt Boys. My man Platt Boys in the building. Was good. Sheena's in the building. Always good to see Sheena. We got Andrew Charles. Deanna, of course, in the building. Good to see you. So we got a nice little foundation of people starting to build up. Just make sure that you double jab that like button on the way in as we get settled in. Prop your feet up. Get comfortable. And we are about to cook. So as you guys can see on the screen, I got Stormy B-Man in here. We got Just Do Boxing, hashtag TWT. We also got Drew Titan and Southern T. Also, got that hashtag TWT in the building. I'll go ahead and start it with Stormy real quick and just let the people know how you're feeling and anything that you want to set off with the introduction, feel free, and then we'll swing it across from there.
Well, first of all, salute to everybody that's on the panel this evening. Divine, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. Gives me a chance to be a participant instead of a conductor tonight, so I enjoy sitting in that seat from time to time. Salute to everybody that's out there in the chat. I enjoy being a part of streams like this from time to time. Sometimes I'm just sitting back listening, and then other times to participate is a good thing. When you have a big fight coming up, and you gotta say that the heavyweight fight this weekend is a big fight. You got 4 of the titles on the line. It's something that you should come together and talk about, not fuss about or argue about, but to just put ideas out about what you think not only happens with the match, the participants, what's ahead in the future, things like that, and what has led to this very moment. Because a lot of times people just wait for the fight and they just watch the fight and then they move on to other things. But a lot of things have happened in the intermission between the last time that these two combatants faced each other and what's going to take place this weekend. And just over the past 48 hours, we've got some really big news that puts things in a different perspective. So it's exciting, and I'm glad to be here with you guys once again.
I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to have you on board, Stormy, as always. Just do boxing. Let the people know what you got going over on your channel and how you're feeling about things right now.
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm happy to be here, man. I appreciate the invitation, man. I just want to salute the brothers on the panel. Stormy B, the sensei, my brother T. And salute to the brother Drew Titan as well. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'm ready to talk some boxing. I'm ready to talk some boxing. Feeling pretty good tonight.
Drew Titan got the day off just in time to get on Firestorm. How you feeling tonight?
I got a effing migraine. It just hit me in my head like 10 minutes ago, but I'm here. I'm here for as long as I could rock, man. You know what I mean? Good to be here. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've been following you for a decade, literally a decade. So I appreciate this, man. And you know, actually this fight, this is the first fight we can actually have a conversation about without talking about any kind of drama surrounding it. You understand what I'm saying? Like corruption. We can actually talk about the fight itself. So in that aspect, it's very refreshing. So, you know, let's get it.
Most definitely. Southern T, where's my Navy boot camp sweater at, bro?
They jumped in the drawer, man. Appreciate you.
Hey. I was sitting there looking at that shit, brought back memories, bro. I started tweaking out a little bit.
That's my brother. They say Navy brother. You know, he in the Navy, so that's the sweater that the brothers get type deal. So I'm a Navy brother type deal. So I'm ready to support my brother.
Most definitely. Y'all know Southern T, man. He basically on YouTube 24/7. He's sleeping and he's still live. So if y'all don't know about Southern T, man, if you want that 24/7 type, updates and betting and whatever it may be, that's your man right there. But look, now we've all had the proper introduction. I think Tay's on his way in. You know, Tay's always running around, hustling, doing his thing. But I got a text from him. I think he's coming in here in a moment. So I want to, first, before we get into the main meat of the subject, which of course is Usyk and Joshua, I want to talk a little bit about Deontay Wilder, man. Now that we all have each other here to be able to give our thoughts about it, Deontay's back. Literally, by the time he steps into the ring in October, it'll be a year since we've seen him in the ring. And I'm excited. I'm pretty sure we all are excited. I guess the topic now is, now that we know for sure that he's back, and where do you guys see him going from here? He's got, in my opinion, a very credible opponent in front of him in Hellenius. I don't think it's a pushover. I actually look at him as a kind of dangerous fight, to be quite honest with you. They know each other, and I know a lot of people kind of feel like, I don't like these fights where, they used to be sparring partners. Well, in the heavyweight division, there's only so many heavyweights at the top level. You're going to spar each other from time to time. It happens all the time. Mike Tyson fought a lot of guys that he used to spar, and we know this. But come fight night, they're both going in there to win. There ain't no doubt about it. And if you think that either one of them are going to lay down and let the other guy win, I think you're making a mistake. So we can first talk about the matchup between him and Lanius. What's your thoughts about the matchup? How do you see it going? And we'll go from there, and then we'll get into where do we see Wilder going from that fight, assuming that he wins. Does he go for a title? Is he, making plans to fight the winner of Usyk and Joshua, which the timing actually could work out perfectly. After that fight's done, and then he's in the ring in October, and then you're talking about, May, April, May-ish, where we have another massive heavyweight title championship bout on the line. So, a lot of things could be happening here behind the scenes. So we're going to start off with Stormy. Stormy, what do you think about the fight against Lanius? How do you grade it? And where do you think Wilder goes from here if he does become victorious?
Well, I released a video this morning, and it's all of my comments are in the video. No, but listen, man. First of all, welcome back to Deontay Wilder, man. I have my own personal feelings about him returning to the ring. But under the auspices of him returning to the sport, because he is a live character in the sport of boxing, meaning that he carries weight in the heavyweight division, his performances, his name, his personality, and his character. It resonates in the sport in a way that nobody else can state that claim. Now, for he facing off against a fighter like Helenius, it's a good comeback fight, because being a veteran fighter of 40 plus fights, I don't think he should come back against soft touches. I think he has to come back against someone that's going to make him be serious in the gym to make sure that he has his competitive edge where it needs to be. Now, the great thing about facing Helenius, yes, they are familiar with one another. I spoke about that in my video. But Helenius is not an outstanding boxer. He's a somewhat mid of the level type boxer. But that's just the type of opponent that if he wants to come back and get back to a certain place in the sport, I think the Helenius will afford Wilder the luxury of being able to box, to implement some of the game plan that his coaches and trainers may have for him. I don't want to see him rush out there to just try to get a guy out of there. It's time for him now to enter a new phase of his boxing career. Use the damn tools that you have, brother. We know that you can send people to the moon. But what a lot of people don't know and don't respect and don't think about is the guy that won the bronze medal can still box. Ask Bermane Stavern. Okay? And the thing about it is, to get back to that, the more that he does have that mindset, the easier the knockouts will come. Because off of boxing, you set things up. And I've said this many a times. I think that Deontay Wilder can punch equally as hard with his left hand that he can with the right, because he's a genetically, naturally strong country boy. And the thing about that is, it has not been asked of him. But I would demand that I need to see at least 30 to 34 jabs around. Because if you're doing that, you're loosening things up, you're opening things up, and guess what? The other punches will come in naturally. They'll find their targets. You don't have to aim for them. You can set everything up with that jab. He has, when he wants to, a piston of a jab. It's not the average jab. Many people may forget his first fight with Tyson Fury. After the first round or two, Fury came back to the corner and told his cornerman, damn, that jab is hard. You know, he spoke about it in between rounds. He hadn't been hit like that. You see what happens when a person just falls in love with power and don't understand that, yeah, you might have a nuke, but you need a missile to put it on to get to the target. So that's, my opening remarks about that. As far as my personal feelings about Deontay Wilder, I would have been fine with him pursuing the other aspects of his life outside of the ring. I don't like how the sport has treated him. I don't like how the journalists have treated him. They've had a very sinister approach in dealing with the man, most disrespectfully. And I don't have any good feeling about that whatsoever. But if this is his choice to come back, but do it the right way. Come back, put those skills to use. That's what I would like to see.
Most definitely. Yo, Just Do, how do you feel about the fight? How do you feel about Deontay's comeback? And where do you see Wilder going from here?
For me, I mean, if I say this, if Wilder is 100% in it to come back, I'm 100% in support of it. I mean, as far as the opponent, I think Helenius is the right opponent for Wilder to come back, get his feet back wet, so to speak. And like Stormy was saying, he's not the top tier level at heavyweight. He's like that mid-level, mid-level fighter. I think that's just the type of fighter that Wilder need, a guy that's not going to lay down, but he's also going to allow Wilder to get back to some of this boxing that I actually want to see this bronze medalist do. You know what I'm saying? As far as the fight, I think it's a winnable fight for Wilder. I think as long as you got the right hand that he has, you always got a shot to win. And like I said, with Helenius not being top tier, it will be just the kind of test Wilder needs. And like I said, it would have, with that skill set, it would allow Wilder to be able to, get his shit off, so to speak, and get a win under his belt. And I say after that, man, go for the title if that's what you want. I'm in support of whatever Wilder want to do. This comeback fight, I think it'd be a good test, and like I said, it's right what he need.
Most definitely. Southern T, what do you think about the fight, and where is Wilder going from here?
What's good? Y'all was good. What's good, Drew, Stormy, Just Do, chat. The first thing I want to say, I want to debunk this whole, Wilder, cherry picking cakewalk thing. Okay, so you got a guy who coming out right, 2 losses in Wilder. You got a guy who coming out 3 straight knockouts in Robert Helenius. If you didn't know, now you know. You know what I mean? Helenius is ranked top 10 in all the major sanctioning bodies, number 2 in the WBA. So to say that the guy coming off 2 losses is cherry picking the guy coming off 3 knockout wins is blasphemy. That's the first thing I want to say. Second thing I want to say is, deep down in me, I kind of always felt he would come back. You know what I mean? Just the way he went out. I understand everybody worried about his, his health. I am too. You know what I mean? But just looking at him, he looked fine to me. Just watching the video, you know what I'm saying? He looked fine to me, type deal. But it's like I kind of always knew he would come back just because I knew he had a lot left to give. You know what I mean? He don't have nothing to prove, but that's different from having a lot left to give. You know what I mean? He got a lot left to give to the sport. And I think Robert Helenius, because of him being ranked so high, because of him actually being, a good test and still being a winnable fight for Wilder, I think it's like a perfect matchup for him, you know what I mean, in his comeback. It's not a guy he could walk over, and it's a guy, if he's not on his A game, that can beat him. Not a guy that he could walk over, but a guy that's go give him a test, you know what I mean? He go push him. I like the Robert Helenius matchup.
Most definitely. Drew, let the people know what's on your mind.
You know it's Bomb Squad all day, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. You, Stormy, Just Do, Southern Team, my brothers. The winning team is on deck, man. Much love to all of y'all, man. I'm excited about this, man. And just off the general principle, you know, you don't want to see him go out the way he did, but if he had decided to, I was cool with it. The other things surrounding the situation, that's what we had a problem with. But, you know, BS aside, Helenius is a solid, incredible opponent. He, as y'all know, he was down there in the camp with him, and I know Tay won't reveal how the sparring went. I actually met Helenius in Vegas. Sizable human being, you know, and he had some pop on his punches because you know, Koronaki, 2 fights in a row, he cut him up, man. He's not unbeatable, and if anybody is going to beat him, it's going to be Deontay. I'm gonna pick Deontay to stop him, but Robert's not coming to lay down. This is an opportunity for Robert, actually, and he's saying, you know, look, man, you know, I have some things on my side that will that should work in my favor. A lot of people are when a fighter suffers a loss like how Wilder suffered, people they wonder about his mental state. Get that out your mind, because he's not that kind of guy. Get that out your mind. I don't think that's gonna matter of fact, I know that's not gonna be an issue. It's not gonna be an issue. He is coming in 100%. My thing in that concerns me, punch resistance, of course. You know, you got to wonder about that. But I think he's going to be just fine. I'm picking him to stop Robert. Robert's a nice guy, man. Soft-spoken, you know, nice guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. But I do think that he sees this as an opportunity, and he's going to take it. Now, as far as what happens with Deontay next, let me be very clear, and I've spoken to Tay Jones quite often. And salute G5, I see you, my brother. He's going the WBA route, man. No exceptions. He's not fucking with the WBC. He's going the WBA route, which means there's 3 belts that Joshua and Usyk are fighting for. So however it works out, he may be in line for that. Now, if you know, I don't know. All right, we're gonna talk about who wins between them two, between AJ and Usyk. But first things first, he's going to WBA out. As soon as I said that, Tay popped up. You know what I'm saying? So the man's going to WBA route. So just check those rankings, and whatever happens between the winner of Usyk and AJ, we'll just have to see what happens, because Fury is quote unquote retired, right? So we're not really worried about undisputed, right? So that's the route he's going. If you want to see which route that Deontay's going, pull up the WBA rankings and take your pick. And Tay right there, you can ask him. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I appreciate your thoughts, man. We got G5 and Tay Jones just dropping in. My man G5 was over on BFTB earlier, so maybe he had to rehydrate. So he's back in the building. G5, man, we just sharing our thoughts real quick about Deontay coming back, obviously fighting Robert Helenius, and giving our thoughts about that fight and his comeback as a whole before we get into the main topic of the evening, which is this Saturday night's fight between Usyk and Joshua. So let the people know, rather, what do you think about Deontay's return? How do you feel about the fight? And where do you see Deontay going from here, going forward, if he does become victorious in October?
Well, first off, salute to you, Divine Sense, my brother. Salute to all you good brothers on the panel, man. Hope everybody doing well today. Just Drew, Sensei Stormy B, man, Tay. I can't see everybody on this screen right now. Southern T, my brother. Everybody, the whole panel, salute to the chat. With Wilder, I agree with a lot of my brothers, man. I feel like, of course, you know what I'm saying, since we respect him as a person, his character, you know what I'm saying, outside the ring as well in the ring, we want his well-being, you know, being intact. So of course we're gonna worry about, oh, are they gonna target that one side? You know, so I'm pretty sure the camp working on different things like that. Punch resistance, yeah, we want to see if everything is okay, or was it just that one fight? You know, it's a great area right there where people are curious, they want to see. So other than that, I mean, I feel like he took enough time to get back focused mentally. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a lot that he endured going through, you know what I'm saying, those 3 fights with Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? We already know about all the moving pieces and the parts. I feel like he needed time to just regroup. You know what I'm saying? Time to hear himself think, you know what I'm saying, collect his thoughts and figure out what he really wanted to do. You know, shout out to Tay. He always provided us great information with, you know, when it comes to regard to the champ. And, you know, he can say it before himself. He make more money outside the ring. So when you got a situation like that, you know, he can like, do I want to do it? But hey, his love and his heart for the game, in the sport of boxing, man. So at this point now, he the money man. You know, Tay already told us, you know, that he was going to WBA route. He already number 1 in WBC. This is chess moves, my people. Chess moves. You know what I'm saying? Box me in every possible way. So no matter out of the winner of this fight, once he knock out Hellenius, he the Mando right there. Either they gonna fight him or give up the belt. Either or. You know what I'm saying? He headed right on the unification, and you know, if Tyson Fury, you know, give up this belt or whatever, you know, he 1 step closer to undisputed. And then he can do whatever the hell he wants. Newsflash, Wilder's the money man. Every sanctioning body need this man. So best to believe they're gonna do what they can to try to appease him. At some point, they need him. Heavyweight division is dead. Even with the young crop of talent we have, they don't ring bells like that. Sorry, no disrespect, no slight to nobody, but they don't do it like that. So Wilder can do what he want to do. He is a high-paid free agent that bring a bag. Real talk.
Yep.
But
and it is.
I got to stop Hellenius. Yeah.
What's up? You got stoppage over Hellenius?
Yeah, I got him stopping him. I agree with Drew. Hellenius is a good dude. You know, he's been a sparring partner for Wilder as well. You know, they have a history. They good. You know what I'm saying? They both gonna get paid. And but it's just levels to it. And once Wilder land, yeah, it's gonna be night.
Yeah, I hear you. And before I swing it over to the next 2 gentlemen that haven't spoke yet, we just had 78 drop into the building, man. Shout out to 78. Look, man, I'm going to put it to you this way. If you're listening to the live stream right now, you're in the chat. If there's something that you don't like us saying, especially about Deontay Wilder, keep it to your fucking self or leave. It's that simple. You're going to get bopped up out of here anyways, and you might just piss me the fuck off too, and I'll roast you. So you're better off just keeping it to yourself. If you came in here to listen to Usyk and Joshua, then wait or get the fuck out. Simple as that. Tay Jones, what's good, bro? I appreciate you dropping in, man. We already know what time it is when it comes to Deontay Wilder. You're close to him. You got the inside look and whatnot. How do you personally feel about the Hellenius fight, and where do you think Deontay's going to go from here in regards to, you know, he beats Hellenius? Is he going to go straight for the titles? You know, where do you see him going? Let the people know.
Man, man, first of all, thanks for having me, man. And it's definitely good to be on a panel with such great gentlemen like all of you guys. You know, truthfully, I believe we're gonna see undisputed in the heavyweight division with, you know, maybe around March. You know, I got firm belief that Tyson Fury is definitely probably going to have no choice but to stay retired. And that's just my firm belief on certain things that I know. Even with that being said, I know some of the guys, you know, were speaking about how I was saying going the WBA route. and we've seen that before. We've seen that before. It's nothing new. Actually, you can go back and look at when Anthony Joshua was the number one in WBC. He fought a title eliminator, and guess what he did? He went right back and went another route. You look at Helenius; he's ranked number 2 right now in WBA. Not only that, he's already fought 2 title eliminators, right? So that put Deontay right in contention. Once he beat Helenius, right back in contention to be a mandatory. Not only that, a lot of people don't even know this. It's been certain people saying that boxing is not going to allow this or allow that. Well, Oleksandr Usyk is also a free agent after this fight as well. So a lot of people don't even know that. So it's like I said before, it's shaping up how it's supposed to shape up. Play chess, not checkers. A lot of guys been playing checkers, and of course the WBC will make a title eliminator right now. They have the rights to do that simply because Deontay has been number 1 in their sanctioning body the last 2 years. Right, but of course they was waiting for a reason. What is the reason? Well, the reason why they was waiting because they know one person who's gonna bring a lot of money to that to them would be Deontay Wilder. So, of course, it would be a title eliminator. I think this is definitely a great fight. These guys know each other very well. I know everybody's gonna ask me what was it like watching those 2 guys spar. But I'll just keep that under wraps. But definitely a good fight, man. Helenius is a good dude. I shared what his coach said to me last night when I was live. I shared what his coach said to me. So it's just gonna come down to coaching because, like I said before, those guys was in our camp. They, obviously, with those guys being in the camp, you pick up on certain things. So we'll see. But like I said before. It's definitely gonna be a good fight. It's back in the Barclays. As D stated before, don't ever want to fight in Vegas again. Not only that, you look at his rap sheet in the Barclays. You've seen some of the best knockouts, right? You've seen one with Brazil, and then of course you see one with the other guy. I forget his name. The one from Florida. But overall, man, like I said before, I just think this is a good fight. Good comeback fight. And then on top of that, not really just a good comeback fight, but it was a great business fight as well.
Most definitely. Yeah, before I swing it off to 78 right quick, this dude, what the fuck is his name? Nick Jones, whatever the fuck. Sounds like a fucking FBI agent. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You've already been blocked and deleted, and that's fucking sad, man. What the sad part about it is that you don't have the courage to go to Drew yourself. You got to come onto my shit and try to come at Drew because Drew probably fucking blocked you, and that's why. So you come over here.
No. Leave him right there. Go ahead.
78. Long time no see, bro. How you doing tonight?
All right. What's happening with it, Divine? Salute to the panel, man. Yeah, man. I ain't talked to Divine since what? Right about 2012, 2000, something like that.
It's been crazy, a minute, man. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to the meet and greet. I know there's a lot of people there that I would love to catch up with after all these years, man. But I got to travel across a fucking whole body of water. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no doubt.
But we're gonna make the next one for sure. But I appreciate you coming in here, man, and taking your time out of your night. I know you're a busy man.
Sure.
So let us know what your thoughts about Wilder. I know you've already made a video about it. You let the people know. You're obviously one of the well-known men out here who update people, especially when it comes to big fights and heavyweight fights, especially Deontay Wilder. So how are you feeling about the fight against Helenius? And do you see Wilder becoming a champion again? And having this proper second reign, becoming the king again?
Man, I'm very, very excited about the fight. The Robert Helenius is a real credible opponent. You know what I'm saying? But this just goes to what Wilder does. Wilder last 5 fights, have been real tough fights. You know, he had a real tough schedule. You know what I'm saying? Now he's doing it again with Robert Helenius. And this is a meaningful fight because it's going to put him in position to where he can really force a undisputed matchup or a matchup with the winner of Joshua versus Usyk. I don't know what's going to happen with the WBC belt. Mauricio's still playing like he don't want to strip Tyson Fury. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm not worried about the WBC side of things because, yeah, Wilder's definitely going to clean that up. We just got to focus on Helenius beating him and then beating the winner of Joshua versus Usyk. You know what I mean? And then after that, I mean, look, sky's the limit. You know what I mean? This is everything that's happening with Deontay Wilder right now on this second heavyweight run. This is just stuff, icing on the cake. His legacy already cemented. He already a Hall of Famer. They can't take that from him. So everything he do now is just going to be adding to it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm real excited.
And what do you think about people saying this Helenius fight is like a tune-up, and they used to be sparring partners, so Helenius will lay down for him like Malik Scott laid down for him when they fought? All this other shit that I'm seeing all over YouTube. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean that's coming from the people who are never gonna get Wilder credit anyway. So you know who cares about them dudes? These are the same dudes who said they allowed Joshua to duck Luis King Kong Ortiz and try to put him off on Wilder. Wilder fought the man when he didn't have to fight the man. Ortiz wasn't even Wilder's mandatory or nothing. He was Joshua's mandatory. Wilder fought this dude after Ortiz popped dirty for a banned substance. He fought him anyway, all right, and fought not once but twice, right? You know, and he fought Tyson Fury 3 times, all right? And people, when he was fighting Tyson Fury, the same people were saying that, oh, Fury, Wilder's cherry picking Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's fat, he's out of shape. Fury ain't nothing. He ain't this, he ain't that. So those people ain't never gonna give Deontay Wilder credit, even when he become undisputed champion. They're not gonna give him credit. You know what I mean? They like being Deontay Wilder haters. That's all that is.
Yeah, I always find it ironic. The irony is always, astounding. You know, like what people always say, like you said, when Deontay Wilder essentially reached out into the gutter, which that's where Tyson Fury was, fat, out of shape, looked like shit, and said, yo, I got you. I'm going to pull you out of the gutter. I'm going to give you a title shot. I'm going to bring you out of this situation that you're in. And a lot of people, like you said, 78, said, well, the dude's out of shape. Of course, Deontay's going to knock him out. But then when the first fight was done and it was this epic fight, went 12 rounds, and then Fury got knocked down and then he got up and everyone was like, wow, Tyson Fury. And it's like, well, hold up a second. There would be no Tyson Fury without Deontay Wilder. I don't know how people forget that shit. I don't know how people miss that. I think they conveniently miss that point. And throughout the entire trilogy, that's what the narrative was, is that Fury made Wilder. What? Fury made? Wilder's already made. What the fuck are you talking about? So it's crazy. But this is, for me, is his redemption and in a more strategic way, right? Making a comeback, letting the people know that I'm not fazed at what happened in the trilogy against Fury. I've left that behind me. I don't live in the past. I live in the present, and I make moves for the future. And I'm going to come a different way. While he's retired, people are going to be speaking my name. I'm going to be taking over the sport. So it's a much more strategic, maneuver by Deontay Wilder, and I like it a lot. And I want to share this screen one more time for people that just came in. Obviously, Malik Scott, and people were asking too, is Malik Scott still a trainer? Well, it seems so, and I'm sure they can verify that. But they're obviously working together, so he's still in the corner. But when I saw this video that was posted by Malik, first thing that popped out to me was he's obviously leaned down, right? And the speed is back. The speed is definitely back, right? And he looks much more comfortable, much more fluid. You see him using feints that he doesn't always do, because maybe he felt like he didn't need to do it. He just lined up that right hand. But you can see here where Malik is keeping him on the balls of his feet, being nice and fluid, because speed kills in this game, especially in the heavyweight division when you got big dudes who don't necessarily move very well. And when you got that hand speed and that power, that's a dangerous combination. So that's what I like to see from him. And he's not loading up with shots. He's just being crisp and sharp and fast. And that's the Deontay, that was knocking dudes out when he was 212, 215, knocking out 270-pound men. That's the Deontay that I want to see. And, the Deontay that came in the third fight at, what was it, like 238 or something like that. I think that, to me personally, was more of a prideful thing. I want to come in as big, as strong as I possibly can and try to knock this dude out early. And so you live and you learn, right? And now he is smart enough to realize that this is where I need to be. And I see people on social media trying to clown him because he looks skinny and all this bullshit. But y'all going to see, man. Y'all about to see that fucking speed. Y'all going to see it. So I just wanted to share the video clip. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's on Malik Scott's page. And the fight buildup is already starting, guys. It's already starting. People are getting excited for it. And Deontay Wilder, on the note of Luis Ortiz, by the way, if you guys didn't know, there's a video by Fight Hype. He went to Luis Ortiz's camp to stop by and show love to Luis Ortiz. Obviously, we know he's about to fight Andy Ruiz coming up here in September, which I thought is a very gratifying thing. It shows you the type of person that Deontay Wilder is, because a lot of people paint a picture that he's ungrateful and he's selfish and he can't take a loss and all this other shit, right? Where, like 78 pointed out, Ortiz popped positive for illegal substances. Deontay still fought him, never criticized him, never, went at him in a negative way, and still to this day goes to a camp and shows him love as a man and as a father. So you have to ask yourself, why doesn't he do that or have that same sentiment for Fury? Well, obviously, he doesn't feel that kind of way about Fury because Fury be on that bullshit. So it is what it is. Anybody want to throw any final thoughts on Wilder before we move on?
Yeah,
go
I'd
ahead,
like
Stormy.
to say something. What you were just talking about stopping by to see King Kong Ortiz. I have said on several occasions that this man has probably been the most real people's champ since Ali. And that doesn't mean he fights like Ali. That doesn't mean he imitates Ali or anything like that. What it means is that he channels the spirit of someone who is charismatic enough that can have people from all walks of life just gravitate toward him, because he's real, and real recognizes real. That man can walk down the street without bodyguards and people will come up and surround him and carry him on his way down the street. That's the type of vibe he gives. And when you see something like that, even the fight that he's going to have with Helenius, who has worked with him in the training camp, preparing him for someone else and everything, it's the very thing that I spoke about in my video earlier today, that I said that they can teach these young fighters of today something. See, friends can fight. And another thing that I said is, a lot of times fighters who are friends become friends after they fought.
Mm-hmm.
Because they establish a certain amount of respect for one another, because there was something that transpired when they were in the ring against one another. There was an exchange of something that gave the other respect for who they were facing down. This is the type of thing that none of these young guys today who refuse to face each other as friends, or I know the guy or whatever, will never get to until they cross that broom, because it helps develop your character as a fighter, as a warrior. You see, when you've been in battle, and you guys who've been in the military will understand this, when you've been in battle and someone was by your side, you see, and you came through it, there's something that you have for that guy that went through it with you. It's like you just have a certain bond and a tie that you can see each other 20 years down the line and be like, hey, that's my man, because there's just something that took place between you. Same as these fighters here. And regardless of what happens between he and Helenius after their fight, you can believe that there's a certain amount of respect that they have for one another as well. Win, lose, or draw, there's something there. And again, these young fighters of today, take note. There's not enough of the real teaching. I talk about this all the time. There's not enough of the real teaching. Anybody can ball their fist up and punch another person, but it takes a real human being of character and substance, to understand why you do what you do, how to do what you do, and what to do and what not to do. How many of these guys are out here reckless and undisciplined and have to fall on falsehoods just to excuse themselves because of lack of accountability? And you know what I mean when I'm saying that, because we've had examples of that just this week. So again, earlier today in an interview where D was giving he was like, men, be fathers to your children. Out of nowhere, he's speaking these things because it's a fact. It's a reiterating point that is supposed to come across to who's supposed to receive it. For those who don't, you don't worry about, you don't worry about that. But those who get the message and those who understand, they will take it. And they'll do it because they're supposed to. But that's the difference between someone like him and Ali and everyone that is centered around them during their era.
Yeah, and I want to give just one real quick history lesson for everybody. And Stormy was definitely around during this time, maybe even 78 as well. When Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Rahman, a lot of people said, damn, Lennox might be done. Like, that shit was a crazy ass knockout. Maybe it was all hype. What did Lennox do? He came back and stomped that ass. Right? And see, that's the thing with Deontay. I'm not worried about him coming up short in the trilogy against Fury. And sometimes either you have two choices when you go through a devastating loss or an unfortunate loss, whatever it may be. You got two choices. Either three. You can retire. You can come back and look like shit, never look the same ever again, or you come back even better. So we know that Deontay's we know he's not retiring, right? So it's either one or the other. He's going to come back, look explosive, dangerous than ever, or he's just not going to look the same anymore. And like 78 said, it doesn't really matter which way it happens. He's going to be a Hall of Famer nonetheless. He's already cemented his legacy into the sport. So all we can do is give him our blessings and our support and hope for the best and hope that he does open the boxing world's eyes once again. And people, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this, man. Y'all people forget that Deontay Wilder is an American heavyweight. It fucking blows my mind. You got all these people right here in the States. They want other people from different countries to be the heavyweight champion. Right here in America. And Deontay doesn't have to hold up the heavyweight belts with pride as an American black man, right? And be like, yo, I'm the American champ. I'm a black man. You know, I put my country on my back. He doesn't have to do that, but he did it. And you sit there and you still want to criticize him. So y'all go sit with that for a moment. But look, let's get into the topic of the night. If you guys have come in, if you guys haven't hit that like button, I don't know what's happened, and maybe your fingers ain't working properly. But slide down, double jab that like button, get the likes all the way up. Saturday night, heavyweight titles on the line, highly anticipated rematch, Usyk-Joshua. And if you guys don't know, if you've been following me for a while now, the first fight I predicted Usyk to win. That prediction video actually got a shitload of views. I think it touched close to 10 to 12,000 views, which is a lot for my channel. And a lot of people attacked me. Oh, you crazy, man. Usyk is too small. He's a cruiserweight. Joshua's going to smash him. We saw what happened. And I remember distinctly me and Stormy had a panel together like maybe a few days before that fight, Stormy. And we try to tell people, Usyk is no slouch. This dude is talented. And he's going to go in there and he's going to box the brakes off of Joshua. And he did exactly that. As a matter of fact, a lot of people like to forget that he almost stopped Joshua at the end of the fight.
Joshua was in such peril that they had to kill the clock before the round ran out because he was running out of real estate.
Like,
Before he
ring the
fell
bell, ring the
down.
bell, ring the bell. He's about to get knocked out. Ring the bell.
Ropes.
Matter of fact, before they did that with the clock, there was somebody waving a white towel. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So
that was the
now,
bat signal. Hey, stop it! You know.
Yeah. I saw that, and I know Drew has mentioned this too on his channel. I've listened in on him. Is that, you know, it's kind of funny how the Joshua fans were coming with full force leading up to that first fight. They're like, oh yeah, the Andy Ruiz shit, that, you know, that was just a little mishap. You know, he came back, he avenged that loss. He's back, and they were attacking our channels and talking shit or whatever. And then now, since he lost, Drew said it the other day, where the fuck did the Joshua fans go? Now, I know they didn't disappear. I know they're still lingering. But they got a lot quieter because, you know, they're biting their nails. They're sitting on the edge of their seat, and they don't know what to think about their favorite fighter, Anthony Joshua. They thought this guy was going to be the face of heavyweight boxing. That's what they thought.
And you know what? He's giving them uncertainty. Every time he speaks, he's a walking contradiction of himself, plus a man of ignorance. He should walk around with some duct tape across his mouth whenever microphones are in the room, because he has a bad way of just harming himself, even without throwing a punch.
Stormy, as you say that, let me put this up on the screen just to solidify your point. And shout out to Boxing Ego for posting this. Look at this shit. Anthony Joshua says, if Oleksandr wasn't a lefty, I would have smoked him.
All right, but he wasn't. So what the fuck was you gonna do?
Y'all, hey man, AJ been saying a bunch of off the wall ass shit like leading up to this fight. At first he said he lost because his trainer ain't tell him he was losing. He said he thought that he was in the fight, fighting like Muhammad Ali. He thought he was having a scrap, so he thought he was up in the fight. So he said that's why he lost. And now he's saying that if he wasn't a lefty, he would have smoked him. Then he said because he was too he fought too safe or some shit like that. This man don't know. He confused. I don't think he really know why he lost. And that's why I want to believe in him, but the more he say, the less I believe in him. That's crazy.
And you know what Usyk's answer to that was? During his workout this week, he was shadow boxing and sparring as a righty.
You know what? When this guy loses, aren't there a lot of like weird ass excuses? Y'all remember after Andy beat him? Mm-hmm. Never mind what I know. Never mind what me and Stormy broke down. But we heard a lot of excuses like the mouthpiece was too big, his gum shield, all of this weird ass stuff that's never been proven, right? But no one's talking about what me and Stormy was talking about. But moving along, then you come back and you string some wins together, and now this. Do you realize how ridiculous this sounds? When you're a fighter, you want to talk about ring IQ. Okay, let's say you're fighting a righty. Let's say, all right, fine. You're fighting a guy that could switch hit. And for 30 fights in a row, he's fighting righty. He gets in the ring with you, southpaw. You got to be able to think your way out of that, man. You got to be able to think like a Marine, man. Think outside the box. What is he talking about? You know how ridiculous this is? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And nobody's going to say anything? Don't worry. Here we are. How stupid of a statement is this? I mean, this is stupid. You got to spell it wrong. STOOOOOOPID. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm so appalled. Are you kidding me?
I got another one. I got another one for you.
It sounds crazy, but I'm not going to lie. My objective was never to hurt him.
That's the one for me. That's the
Whoa,
one.
whoa. What is
That's
this?
the one right there for me.
This is him for real?
He dead
Yeah.
serious.
Said that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did say that, bro.
This a
My
heavyweight
aim-
saying this.
My aim was to go the full 12 and prove I could box as well as he does. But I didn't work hard enough to prepare for a 12-round fight. So why the fuck you got an American coach now?
Look, I would have been more convinced if he would have said, my objective was to never hurt him, but to lather him down with baby oil like me and press my body up against his for 12 rounds. I would have
do that.
believed that more than this bullshit right here.
Yeah, damn.
Nobody's gonna say anything about this. There's no articles about this.
He did.
This is
back.
by the way, this is posted by DAZN. He said
Yeah.
this in an interview on DAZN.
Whoa.
Only person
It's
I
not-
think
It's not like he got caught up on a content creator on YouTube's page and they had a little convo. Like this is straight up DAZN.
Mm-hmm.
And they're cool with this. This is okay for him to say this. So now you just undermined Usyk's whole body of work. That's what he just did. He just undermined Usyk's. I want to say as perfect as it could be, because I was on the opposite. I thought AJ was going to walk him down and pose his will, and possibly stop Usyk late. I thought Usyk was going to try and dance and make it to 12. That's what I thought, but I didn't think he would do enough to win the fight. I gave AJ credit because on paper, that's what I saw happening. Until I seen him get right, until he balled up his fist. We're gonna keep it as simple as possible, okay? Usyk balled up his fist and launched a left hand that AJ can't defend against, and hit him right on that chin. And he caught. You ever saw a baby horse when they born trying to stand up? That's how he looked. And I
Or a
was
baby
like, wait
deer.
a minute, that shit hurt. Now is Usyk some power puncher? Is he on some crazy knockout streak? Not that I know of.
Oh yeah, I do know what instant you talking about. He went Bambi leg, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Usyk had harder fights at cruiserweight, my man. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what is this? What am I talking about? What is he talking about? Why are we talking?
We're talking about class, bro. We're talking about class, and
And he
class
has none.
always
Yeah,
tells.
right.
Because Usyk is a proven winner from the Olympics to cruiserweight to now at heavyweight. Remember, one of the best tests of a bully type circumstance that he came through with flying colors was against Chisora. He was able to evade Chisora, take him deep, tire him out, outbox him, and win the fight. AJ is not as tough of a guy as Chisora is.
He's not.
He doesn't have that. Now, it's all downhill for him now, because bringing in a new trainer that don't have the experience of dealing with the heavyweights to begin with, and dare I say, dealing with the brothers, but that's a whole nother thing. We won't go there too much, but it's the fact. Now, other aspects, mental conditioning, which Mr. Usyk has plenty of. We're not even talking about what he's dealing with the world conflict that's going on with his nation right now, but we're talking about prior to now. Those clips like Drew has shared with us on his channel of Usyk doing the Usyk boogie and all of that, that's that man's way of getting into his own zone in a manner of a different culture. He's a lot like Deontay Wilder. He's the type of guy that can carry the weight of his people, what he believes in. He's got solid character. I got a video coming about him. And that's what makes the difference when you're in fights and you have to dig deep. When you don't have anything to scoop from the basement but soot, you're going to find it hard to overcome. And that's AJ. So he walks around spewing these epithets that are totally empty. Just like when Mike Tyson used to talk crap when he was a young guy in the ring, and all of those words he was throwing around that didn't go in the proper sentences and stuff like that. I never forgot that mess. AJ is doing the same thing. And every time Mike was challenged with someone who had resolve, and ambition and gumption, what happened?
Folded.
Same thing's going to happen here. These are lessons for life, people, and they exist for a reason. It don't matter how big you are. It don't matter what kind of muscles you got. Means absolutely nothing. What matters is what's inside up here and what's inside the chest cavity.
Hey, I want you to like engrave this image in your head just for a moment.
He posted that picture on his own.
Yeah.
Why would he do it?
And he was saying that he's loco, right? He's crazy. So he posted that, right?
Yeah,
so and engrave that into your mind, because when he does this, right, then you got somebody else that's looking completely different, right? The guy that he's about to fight. This guy, he got this look, right?
It's like a baby dog without a head.
What the fuck is happening?
That look photoshopped.
Hey, so when Joshua looking crazy like that, this is how Usyk looks back at him.
And then Moon walks away from him.
Don't he look like every baby doll at Walmart had had a hair like drawing on the doll?
Yeah.
Don't
That little shit squiggle.
Yeah, they had this squiggle on the doll.
Yeah, of hair. Yeah.
That shit look glued on.
Yeah, I got out daughter this way. That's the first thing I thought of.
He going to a short tie party.
Y'all guys gonna know what that is, man. That's Usyk going for his tongue pole look, man. That's what that is.
I was about to say that tongue pole.
Nah, he said he want to wear a football helmet. That's his pinstripe.
Joshua gonna see after he lose to him.
You know what I wanted to point out? I played this clip a while ago when AJ was in New York. I spoke about it this morning. When AJ was in New York, he was signing all these autographs after his open workout, right by Madison Square Garden. And the people that rushed him for autographs were all British. Devon, could you please move this picture? This shit is distracting. I can't.
What?
Hey, Drew, I seen somebody in another chat. They was like, Usyk eyes, they scare me. I can't look at that picture. Then I said, what picture? And they started talking about this picture right here. I'm like, man, Usyk funny as shit.
Somebody told me that he got grape eyes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Say he got that grape look. I said, what are you talking about? She's like, I was like, oh, wow. So AJ's in New York signing these autographs, right? And you hear this one brother saying, is he gonna win? Is he gonna win? He say he a real fighter. Is he gonna win? He said it like 4 or 5 times. Then AJ finally responds to him. He says, hey, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna try. I'm like, whoa. And then the other guy says, this is not the fight we wanted. Those are the only 2 Americans we heard. And maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe that's not the type of interviews that they want to do. Those are the interviews that they're scared of. See, ESPN is a controlled, respectful interview. But if you deal with the quote unquote YouTube guys, you're going to get real questions. Now, when he said, I'm going to try, let that have been Shannon Briggs. He'd have walked up the money and screamed on him. I'm going to win. I'm going to beat his ass. Even if he didn't believe it, he wouldn't have showed it right there. When AJ did that, I said, there's something wrong. This dude, he's what you call a specimen. But how many specimens in any sport went #1 in the draft and was a complete bust? Let me find out AJ is the Sam Bowie of boxing. Let me find out, man. If he loses this fight, where does he go?
Back to the graces of Eddie Hearn for life. Because remember,
I want to know what Tay got to say on this.
Tay, let us know.
Well, I mean, I'm hearing everyone's opinion. Um, me personally, I think this is a must-win fight for Anthony Joshua. Um, it's gonna do one or two things. Either well, for him, one or two things. Either he's just gonna pretty much melt away, or he can rectify, you know, um, his side of what he need to take care of. Um, I'm not sure what where he goes if he lose. I really don't know. Maybe take a fight with another Andrew Ruiz fight or Luis Ortiz fight, something like that. Um, or does he goes and build himself? But ultimately, it's like this with me. I stated before, Anthony Joshua, he hasn't. You name one elite southpaw that he has fought in his career, professional career. I think that Oleksandr Usyk was his second uh, southpaw he's ever fought.
Mm.
We all know that Charles Martin pretty much sold his belt to Anthony Joshua, right? But you got to ask yourself, what I mean, did he? Even in the amateurs, didn't see many southpaws, right? But then again, like I said before, when you look at the whole trajectory of this whole thing, he hasn't fought an elite southpaw. I went back and did film study on both guys. I actually have another breakdown coming, but just to give you the insight on that, Anthony Joshua, round 6, 7, and 8. I think those was his best rounds against the southpaw. Those are his best rounds. At the round 8, I had to fight dead even, and of course, he took off. And I even explained some of the early line movements. Like, you guys know, I gamble for his, well, I won't say gamble, but sports stock. Heavily invested in that, and looking at some of the things, some of the key points that I went over yesterday. We all know that Joshua doesn't have a gas tank, and when I got to looking at the odds, it made very, very good sense. And right after that, like I said before, he doesn't have a gas tank. Maybe, Vegas looking at it like, hey, well, he got a puncher's chance early, and then of course he gets drowns in the later rounds, which I can see that as well. But this is a fight that he needs. What is he going to do for this fight? Right now, his chance of winning this fight is very slim to none. Usually got people that he's dealing with. People in the background that's emerging that no one has any type of idea who's involved. So, the odds are against him. The odds are against AJ. But I think that Robert Garcia was a great choice for him. But I also think that and believe that he should have kept McCracken as well. I actually believe that if he can go back and look at the success that he has and that he had in round 6, 7, and 8, right? If he could go back and look at those 3 rounds, he got something. But you let the person who you did win those three significant rounds, because at one point I had him down 4-1. Down 4-1 going into the 6th. So, but I just don't like this right now, and it's funny because people would say Deontay is broken, right? They would say Deontay is broken. But when you read messages or the screens, the still shots that you put on the screen, who sounds more broken?
Jesus Christ.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, this is bad. It's really bad. And they're not saying anything.
So, like I said before, man, I just, I sit back, I just pay attention to things. And I'm glad that you showed that, because, like, I got to run it through the fax machine. So I've heard that it was said. And now that I've seen it with my own eyes that he said that, that's lackluster. And one thing that would help Joshua, is if he spoke to American media. That will be one thing that will help him out of a bunch. But he only talks to
UK.
Well, not even just the UK. He's only going to talk to the people he's obligated to talk to.
Right.
Which is fucked up. It's doing them a disservice.
Exactly.
That's doing them a great disservice because you know what? Let's bring it all the way back. Before he fought Charles Martin, we were fucking with AJ heavy over here.
Yeah, he was
because they were speaking highly of him, and we were like, "Hey, okay." So we had an eye on this kid, and they already put the Lennox Lewis crown on him. You know, they took it off of David Hayes' head and put it on his, and we was like, "Okay, we're watching the kid. He's a specimen." All right, fine. Then he started acting funny. I know people wanted to get mad at Al Heyman. You know, we could wish that Prince Charles Martin would have fought Deontay for that belt, but Al Heyman would be a bad advisor. You'll get your ass whipped for this amount of money when they're trying to pay you. What he got paid, like $9 million or something like that? Something like that. I don't remember them, but it was a hefty amount. He literally sold his belt. Went there and he got beat up. Fine. You can't turn back the hands of time. But when he had 3 and D had 1, the only thing left to do was to make an undisputed fight. And we were respectful with it. We wasn't violating him. We said, look, the next step is undisputed. Let's go. And then the nonsense started. How many seats have D sold? And he can't sell out Alabama and everything, but Charles Martin could sell out whatever. Y'all brought Charles Martin all the way to the fucking O2, wherever you fought. But Deontay Wilder, he's up to like 7 or 8 defenses at that time, maybe less than that. But the point was, he had another belt. Go pick it up. You threw $9 million at Charles Martin. And I'm not going to revisit all of that shit. It was a lot of stuff, but we was all here for it. The problem was AJ chose to listen to Eddie rather than work with his brother. And when you use terms like freeze him out, I knew that wasn't AJ talking. I said, fighters aren't supposed to use that term amongst each other, let alone black fighter to black fighter. That's how I knew he was uneducated in reference to what was going on. It was all Eddie. And now you paid the price. You fucked up and lost your hardware once, got it back. Realistically, Andy lost the second fight. AJ didn't win it. If you get what I'm saying. Andy lost it. AJ didn't really win it, in my opinion. Okay? Then he fucked around and loses it to Usyk. This is not Andy Ruiz, man. And this guy is coming back with a chip on his shoulder because everything I'm reading what AJ is saying, he's saying that he lost against Usyk. Usyk didn't beat me. I lost. Meaning, I'm trying to carry him for 12 rounds and I didn't want to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? You, like he's a baby. You coddling him like a baby? Nah, man, it was a close fight, but in the championship rounds, he just flat out whooped your ass, my man. That's what he did. Now, you want to talk about giving people credit. Oh, Deontay ain't giving people credit. Look, what is this? What is this? This ain't on ESPN. Oh, I get it. You know why it's not on ESPN? All of this shit and getting the new coach and everything else and firing McCracken. Release the Kraken. That's exactly what he did. He released it. And no one is talking about this. Why? You know why? American media don't give a shit. Justice for McCracken. You don't hear a peep. All this talk about how bad America is. You came to America and you left with Garcia. And now you're in Saudi. You're in Saudi. This conversation can go so left, but I'm going to keep it right here. This man is out of his mind. This man is making excuses. He's a mental midget. All right. His fans in America have abandoned him, which is why they don't speak on him on American media. For those of you that watch ESPN, ask me how many. Well, I'm going to ask you, how many times have they mentioned this fight and gotten the detail? Has he been to the studios to talk about this fight? Any radio stations? I haven't seen it because no one cares. Now, here's what happened. American fight fans have a short attention span. They have ADD when it comes to boxing, which is why when Tay Jones hit your punk ass up, you should have got on his live stream, man. You should have did it. Because you are not in touch with the people. You're not even in touch with your people. You ain't doing no streams over there. You ain't reaching out to the hardcore fans that scrape up their last pennies to come see you. You're not in touch, and they will turn on you. They will definitely turn on you. It's gonna happen. They did it after the first Usyk fight. AJ no good. Said it straight to Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn lost his shit. Goodbye to bad rubbish. He better win. He better win, because if he don't win, he don't have the love that Derek Chisora has. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to pass it up. Derek Chisora has like 10 losses, but they love him. He is the black British version of Arturo Gatti. Either Gatti was going to get his ass whooped bad or he was going to win good, but he get his ass whooped in the process and you loved him regardless if you was a fan of Arturo Gatti. Derek Chisora has the British fans like that. They know exactly what they get with him. It's like, okay, I love all the expendable films, but I'm not expecting an Academy Award, but I know what I got. That's what they got with Derek Chisora. AJ doesn't reserve that same luxury because they put him on such a high pedestal and he's not living up to it. Okay? This loss right here, he's going to disappear. Derek Chisora could fight for another 5 years if he wants to. AJ loses this fight, what does he do? He can't sell out Wembley.
With all those boys.
That's what he's gonna do. Hang out on the beach. Count your money, hang out on the beach. But you're in debt to Eddie Hearn for the rest of your goddamn life. So I don't know what you're gonna be on a unicycle juggling nuts. Ridiculous, man. That's all I got for that. Ridiculous.
So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. We've painted some pictures. We've looked at some ridiculous and ludicrous statements by Joshua, because that's exactly what it is. It's just out of this world statements that you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, what? You didn't want to hurt him? Oh, you wanted to outbox the boxer. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense, Joshua. You try to say that against Andrew Ruiz. You went in there and boxed for 12 rounds in the rematch. That makes sense because Andrew Ruiz is shorter and doesn't move as well, and you're bigger, longer, and you were able to do it. And let's not forget, like Drew pointed out, Andrew Ruiz came into the ring not prepared, not in shape. So you're trying to convince us that you couldn't win the fight because your plan was to outbox Usyk, who's one of the best boxers in cruiserweight and heavyweight division. And because you weren't able to outbox him, you got tired. That's what you said. When the whole boxing world, whether you were an AJ fan or not, said, why try to outbox him? Walk this man down. Walk him down. Put a jab in his face. Go to the body. And I want people to pay attention. Joshua never went to the body in the first fight. He never went to the body. So what do you do boxing one-on-one when you're going up against a guy who's a mover that is slipping and ducking underneath and who's shorter than you, who's a little bit quicker on their feet than you? What do? You go to the body to take the wind out of those sails. Like Teddy Atlas likes to say, you put water in the basement. Right? So that never existed. Now we don't know what kind of Joshua what we're going to get. We literally have no idea. Is he going to come forward now? Did he learn from his mistake? Or is he going to try to prove that same point that he can try to outbox Usyk? Right? We don't know because he's left us with no substance to base an opinion off of. Like, he's just saying such radical shit that he looks so imbalanced that we don't know what type of prediction in regards to what we think he's going to look like.
He confusing us. I think he confusing us because he confused. I ain't gonna say they don't. I don't think he really understand why he lost. That's why he's saying all these different things. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, just real quick, Stormy. So I see you chomping at the bit. I feel you. But my thing is this, right? Is I more or less agree with Drew in the sense that when he first kind of made the scene here in America, and you see his face plastered all over the Under Armour advertising all over the fucking place. I see it a lot where I'm at, all across Asia. When I go to Tokyo and Singapore and all, you fucking see Anthony Joshua all over the place. You don't really see him now, obviously, but you did at one certain point in time. I didn't mind him, you know. He looks the part, right? When you think of heavyweight boxer, you think big, strong, muscular, looks athletic. You see him on a heavy bag, you see him on a speed bag, and you're like, yeah, that's what a heavyweight boxer is supposed to look like, right? And so I didn't mind him. I thought, you know, this guy could potentially be something nice to watch, and it could be a nice showdown between him and Wilder. That's what I always wanted. I always wanted to see Joshua and Wilder. And if he loses this Saturday night, you can basically kiss that goodbye. Unless Wilder's nice and says, I'll just beat your ass just for the fuck of it. But I just don't see anywhere he can go from here, and especially if he gets knocked out by Usyk. So I'm going to do this. It's prediction time. And a part of your prediction, Stormy, you can add in the thoughts that you have in your mind right now. I'll go ahead and kick it off. And before I do that, we got a poll going in the chat right now with 72 votes so far. Very simple. Who wins? 38% says Joshua, 60% Usyk, and we have a lonely 1% that says it'll be a draw. I guarantee you it's not going to be a fucking draw, but have at it. That 38%, or sorry, now 39% for Joshua it's a decent, healthy percentage, to be honest with you. So there's still faith in Joshua. Now, I'm curious on what that faith is based off of. He's going to come in bigger, stronger, more focused. He's more determined. He learned from his mistakes. Is Robert Garcia, is he going to make that big of a difference? I will say this before I get into my prediction. Robert Garcia, hate him or love him, does appreciate the fundamentals of boxing. One thing that he retuned in Marcos Maidana was the jab. Maidana didn't have no damn jab before Robert Garcia. Facts. And he emphasized that in Marcos Maidana, and that's why, you know, you saw him use that against Mayweather in their fight. And many other fighters that he's worked with, of course, his little brother Mikey, has a great jab, very fundamental jab, which, yes, Joshua's going to need that to offset a mover like Usyk. So there's that little leap of faith that he's going to reconstruct those boxing fundamentals, but can he implement it, ladies and gentlemen? You can give a fighter all the tools in the world. You can lead the horse to the water on a beautiful saddle, reins, brush its hair, looking nice. You take it to the water, motherfucker don't want to drink. Right? That's what you have to think about when you want to make a prediction, and especially if you're somebody like Tay who drops money on fights. There is such a thing in boxing where you have to consider heart and determination, discipline, willingness to be in a fight. And so for me, when I look at if Joshua goes down, how will he recover? If Usyk goes down, how will he recover? Who has the ability to dig deeper and come back when they're down in a fight? That's another thing that you have to consider, especially in heavyweight boxing. So with that being said, I see this as another 12-round comfortable decision for Usyk. I do see some slight improvements by Anthony Joshua. I do see him coming out early, looking a bit better, possibly putting Usyk on the back foot a little bit and forcing Usyk to make adjustments. But ultimately, I have Usyk making those adjustments and using his boxing ability to pivot, to go and use that southpaw positioning to get on those hips of Anthony Joshua, constantly turning him, because Joshua is not dangerous when his feet are not set. that power don't mean shit. All that power everybody talks about with Joshua, it don't mean nothing if his feet are not set. So I just think that Usyk, beginning of the fight, he's going to be cautious. I see Joshua trying to emphasize that jab, trying to get that right hand in there. He might get a couple nice shots in early. He might win 2 out of the first 4 rounds, 3 out of the first 4 rounds, just based off of his ability to walk down Usyk and Usyk looking a little bit uncomfortable. But Usyk will make the adjustments and get the nod, in my opinion. And then the conversation will be, where does Joshua go from here? Those are my thoughts. And we'll see what the rest of the panel says. Y'all can leave your predictions in the chat. I know Stormy's been waiting, so I'll swing it over to Stormy. Stormy, I know you had thoughts that you've been holding on to, so feel free to let loose on that. And then let the people know your prediction.
Well, my thoughts on the first fight. You're talking about Joshua using his jab and boxing and using his length and things of that nature. The reason why he wasn't successful in that is a lot of the same reasons why people were not able to knock out Floyd Mayweather. Floyd was a fighter who was smart enough to make his opponents respect him. Though he may not have had anesthetizing knockout power, he could hit you hard enough to get your attention with something, and his punches were sharp, and he knew how and where and when to punch you. He had great timing and he had very good punch placement. In the first fight against Usyk, Joshua found that out when someone here on the panel mentioned earlier in this show, when he got hit with a shot that kind of gave him like the Bambi legs or whatever. But Usyk took Joshua's boxing away from him by countering him and jabbing with him, or jabbing over his jab, or countering over his jab.
Yeah.
When you get hit like that and you're not an experienced fighter, because the key phrase here is being experienced, because remember, Joshua fought a lot of guys that he was knocking out and beating up, but not guys who were giving resistance, guys who were giving something back to him. So with the experience that Usyk had, he took that away from Joshua. And then in the later rounds, as he tired out, it became even worse for him, because Usyk could not only just sit back and counter and stuff, he could take the initiative because Joshua's tank was emptying. Don't forget that. When a guy's not used to being hit back, it's like he didn't know what to do. And that's an experienced fighter taking that away from him. Now, going into this rematch, I expect Usyk to take the fight to Joshua early on, unlike he ever did in the first fight, with the exception of maybe under 2 minutes to go, where he got a little bit more aggressive than he had in all the rest of the fight. But this is some point to drive a message home to Joshua, who is not the most confident person. He can talk a good game. It's like whistling in the graveyard after dark. He's not really as confident as he tries to spew. And when the bell rings, Robert Garcia or whoever else he has in his corner, they can't help him. Usyk knows these things. So to be physical with Joshua early on is probably why he's added a little bit more weight and strength for himself, because if he can do that and turn it into something that Joshua is not expecting early on, again, he gets the jump on the guy, and then he can do whatever he wants to do in the ensuing rounds after that. But my prediction is Usyk will win, and it could end up very ugly for Joshua, especially if Usyk is able to mentally break him in the ring, which is a high probability, because this is not Andy Ruiz Jr. This is a man who has won on every level that he's competed in the sport. And not only has he won, he's been the best where he's campaigned. And right now, on that night, this coming Saturday, he will be the best in the ring. He will. There is nothing that Joshua can do that he hasn't seen. Nothing. But I'm certain there's a few more tricks that Usyk can pull out from his bag, because remember, the consensus was the bigger, younger, stronger guy in the first fight should win. So Usyk went into that fight expecting those auspices from the other side. They didn't manifest. So he fought the fight he needed to fight to be victorious, but he was still prepared for whatever. Now he knows that that guy on that night couldn't do those things to him with what he brought on that night. So not only will he be prepared for what he originally prepared for, but also knowing whom he was in there with already. Remember, they've been 12 rounds together already, and fighters know what's inside the other guy. Didn't I talk about that earlier, about being familiar with someone? And when someone just don't have it, you can't give it to them.
A lot of facts there. Just do. What's your prediction? Let the people know.
For me, I start off with the first fight. I start off with the reasons why I felt like he lost. Starting off with the fact that he didn't impose his will. He didn't make the ring small for Usyk, and he was unable to hurt him and get his respect, knock him off his rhythm, knock his timing off, anything like that. And if you know how I know about Joshua, some would say he come into the fight with a half a tank of gas anyway. That's one strike for me. You mix that in with the fact that he said he wasn't trying to hurt this guy. When you talking about a heavyweight telling you he's not trying to hurt his opponent, when your sole purpose in boxing is to hurt your opponent. You got a heavy, like I said, you got a heavyweight saying he's not trying to hurt his opponent. That's strike two. And the fact that he don't know his limitations as far as his gas tank, and he was trying to really outbox the natural pure boxer and go 12 rounds, but say he wasn't prepared to go to 12 rounds. That's a recipe for disaster. And that's telling me a guy that doesn't fully understand why he lost. And I always say, if you don't know why you lost, you're bound to lose again. I don't think it's going to be no different in the rematch. I think Usyk is going to have him figured out. He already seen him for 12 rounds. I really don't see Joshua really being able to do any better than he did in the first fight. The only thing I could see him trying to do is be more aggressive this time instead of trying to outbox the natural boxer. And I think because of that, if he try to throw caution to the wind, he's bound to get caught with something. And if this is true about Usyk putting on any added weight, and the mindset is to come in there and hurt Anthony Joshua any more than he did in that first fight, if he's able to do that, we might even see a knockout this time and not on points. And for my prediction, man, I got Usyk beating this dude even more convincingly than the first time. And like I said, if he's able to hurt Joshua more than he did in the first fight, he could possibly stop him. Because I just don't think Joshua truly understands, like I said, why he lost the first fight. And I don't see Robert Garcia making a big difference, because I feel like with Joshua, it's not physical, it's mental. And I always said, I think he struggles with identity issues. And because I always attribute that to the first loss he had against Andy Ruiz when he got knocked out. Since that loss, it's like he struggled with an identity. He don't know if he should go in there, try to impose his will and hurt his man, or should he try to box? And it's like the loss against Ruiz turned this guy into a boxer. And I think that's the absolute wrong strategy and approach to take going into a fight with Usyk. And if he's going in there trying to outbox this guy again, with 100% certainty he's going to lose this fight. Yeah, I got Usyk winning convincingly. And like I said, if he's able to hurt him more than he did in the first, I see a late stoppage for Usyk.
Y'all heard it here, man. So far we got 3 people, myself, Stormy, and Just Do, going for Usyk in this. Tay, let the people know. What's your prediction? Tay, you there? We'll come back to Tay. G5, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, brother. What's your prediction on the fight, man? Let the people know.
Me, I look at it like this, man. Anthony Joshua, you know what I'm saying? Me and Sensei talked about it multiple times on the air, off the air. Mental, intestinal fortitude, something that he lacks. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't know who he is in the ring. Like for you to be 6'6", 240, 250, 260, whatever you choose to come in at, he don't even know who he is in the ring as a person, because he don't even, big as you are, you can see that you got a smaller man. You still don't even know how to impose your will on a small opponent that's right there. He following around like a puppy dog. You know what I'm saying? Usyk was the owner and AJ was the dog. Wherever Usyk went, AJ just followed. That's no ring generalship. He lacks that. Secondly, you tried to become a boxer. First of all, you can't do the Andy Ruiz type of deal because Usyk is a better boxer. He moves better. While you going off head hunting and doing all this, you should have been working Usyk's body. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a couple of times he kind of winced up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I went back to just double check to make sure I wasn't tripping. Yeah, he winced up when he got to that body. You know what I'm saying? You look at him once he transitioned, coming back out of round. You know what I'm saying? He was a little gasping for air, like he didn't like the body work too much. So, you know, shout out to my brother Just Do. You know, he had mentioned that too. He kept spitting his mouthpiece out at the end of the rounds from body work. You know, so why not keep going to the body? That's a team thing, which, you know, he got Robert Garcia, a good trainer, but don't expect to see these blazing miraculous results in the first training camp. Expect the same thing to happen. Because once he get hit, he's going to revert back to what he usually does. You know, we done heard that before. So when he's going to revert back. So once he does, it's going to be the same thing. It's not just a straight right. He just doesn't know how to defend a straight period. You know, he's talking about, yeah, you look, he's left-handed. Bruh. You can't get out the way of a straight right from anybody. Bruh. You know what I'm saying? You struggle with that. The punch that's coming straight down the pipe, you don't know how to get out the way of it. You know, so between that, his gas tank. AJ, I look at him here, give him 7 rounds top. Soon 6 round hit, it's like it's going downhill. Starting to go downhill. So with the lack of a gas tank, not the best ring IQ, and the mental fortitude and demand, and what you just put on the screen, yeah, he said that. Then he also said in another interview that, you know, I'm not even really motivated for the fight 2 with Usyk. Well, don't even get your ass in the ring. Like, real talk, this thing is 90% mental, man. Don't get in the ring if you're not mentally ready. Your team should assess that, and that's something you need to tell them. Like, bro, don't get that man in the ring. You're going to mess around and get him seriously hurt or killed. You know what I'm saying? It's too much bullshit going on in boxing. People playing with boxing, and then we having tragedies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if he's not mentally there, don't put the man in the ring. But if he is, go ahead and get in there. He's going to get the same thing. He's going to get outboxed. I got Usyk by UD, man. I mean, he's going to revert back to whatever he did in the first fight as soon as he get hit and he can't do what he want to do. So that's what I got.
Well, shit. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people got Usyk so far. Let's see if what is Tay Jones back yet? Tay, you back? I think Tay taking a nap. T, what's good, man? Let the people know your prediction.
Yo, all right, okay. I did this on my show, you know what I mean. But just to reiterate, you know what I said. Like in the first fight, I had Alexander Usyk, right? I picked Alexander Usyk because, you know, not everybody, picked Usyk at that point, but there were like a few people type deal. But I pretty much thought what everybody else thought. I had been watching Usyk a little while from cruiserweight, so I just knew that he had. And I'm using this word on purpose. I knew that Usyk had a much better pedigree than AJ. You know what I mean? By pedigree, I mean they both Olympians. You know what I mean? Both actually medal winners, right? You know what I mean? But Usyk is just like the more comfortable fighter in the ring. It's like he's more of the natural fighter. It's like AJ probably should have, AJ probably should have been a bodybuilder or something like that. You know what I mean? Usyk is just more like a natural, boxer. He more comfortable in the ring. And when they faced off with each other, it showed. Usyk has been a smaller guy, a lot. You know what I mean? He people don't know that he can't, like in the amateurs, he fought at 168. You know what I mean? So he's at cruiserweight, but naturally, he's smaller than a lot of those guys. He may be taller than a lot of those guys, but in his amateur day, he was super middleweight. Sean Porter beat Usyk in the amateur. You know what I mean? So he was him. AJ being so much bigger than him was never a problem for him. So I knew that going into it, and plus I know he beat Michael Hunter and Joe Joyce and all that too. Back in the day type deal. So he's not unfamiliar with fighting bigger guys. I think AJ it's just a bad matchup for AJ. Like when it's all said and done, like could AJ beat him? AJ could go in there and be big. You know what I mean? Try to knock him out. He's strong enough to knock him out. Usyk almost stopped him in the first fight, but every time AJ landed on Usyk good enough, Usyk took him on that walk. You know what I mean? He got on his bike and he reset the fight. And then after a couple, seconds, he got back, on top of AJ with the counter puncher and everything. Usyk is just kind of like I said earlier, he just the better fighter. Like on like any given day, Usyk just a better fighter than AJ. AJ just not. He not good enough. He not quick enough. You know what I mean? His IQ not high enough. You know what I mean? I just think it's all bad for him. The only way I could see AJ winning this fight, I know Usyk putting on, a couple more pounds in this fight. He's coming in a little bigger. And I think, that's because he thinks AJ is going to try to press him. So I think he, bulking up, to be a little more durable. You know what I mean? Maybe take a little more. If he can't move the same with the weight, Usyk, you know what I mean? If he gas out with AJ, you know what I mean, a little more early, because we know AJ is known to gas out, right? When he don't knock you out early, he known to slow down over the fight. I should say that. I ain't gonna say that he known to gas out. But if Usyk, can be his natural self, if he, if the extra weight on Usyk don't affect him, then I think he beats AJ. Then I think he probably stops him. You know what I mean? But if let's say Usyk puts on the weight and it slows him down a little bit, or it affects his gas tank, then I think that's put AJ more so in the game. But outside of in this fight, Usyk will have to lose it. You know what I mean? He will have to lose. I don't see AJ beating him. You know what I mean? That outside of a chance of AJ catching him, with one of those punches or something like that, like one of those punches clean and Usyk like going straight to bed. Outside of that, I get Alexander Usyk winning this pretty easy, 12-round unanimous decision.
So we got another decision on the table. Tay Jones, you back in here, bro? No. All right. K-Rod, you dropping in late. Let the people know your prediction. And hopefully Tay comes back in here to drop his prediction. And yeah, so let the people know. And if you guys are curious about the poll that's going live in the chat right now, 100 votes. We got 100 votes in the poll. 60% says Usyk, 38% says Joshua, Now we have a handful of people saying that it'll be a draw. So that's where the poll is sitting at. K-Rod, let the people know what you think about this fight and how do you think it ends?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I think Usyk, he's a bad style matchup for AJ. I'm very like, for me personally, like, I'm very high on all my southpaw fighters, that I like. But just looking at the style matchup, I think Usyk has learned a lot more in this Anthony Joshua fight. I think the only biggest concern is just how the late game strategy comes into play, because Usyk, he has a very good early and mid game, but the late game is basically what I fear out of this potential fight. I think Anthony Joshua, he's going to try hurting Usyk very quick, but I think Usyk, he's just going to start making AJ frustrated, and I think once he gets into the later rounds, that's where we will determine if AJ is going to have a different year, or Usyk, he's just basically going to just take over the fight and dominate Anthony Joshua. So I personally believe Usyk, he's not coming to play any games. I think he's going to go in there and absolutely destroy Anthony Joshua, because he already knows how he fights, and he has more ring IQ than Anthony Joshua, to the point where he knows how to decipher anything that comes to him. But it's just that late game factor that Usyk has, because he tends to have an issue where he has these, defensive irresponsibilities to get hit with something flush. But I think if he just fixes that up and just keeps himself focused, all 12 rounds, I can easily see Usyk dominate Anthony Joshua pretty easily. But I would probably have the most unpopular opinion for my prediction. I think Usyk will definitely stop Anthony Joshua. I got it in the 11th round.
So we got a stoppage. We got a stoppage by K-Rod. I think a stoppage, anytime you talk about heavyweight boxing, you always have to have it on the table. It doesn't really matter who's fighting. Does Usyk have the ability to stop Joshua? Most definitely. I mean, I think, to what a lot of you guys said on the panel, G5 in particular and Just Do, we talked a lot about the gas tank of Joshua, right? And we know that when you start losing your stamina and your endurance and you get tired, your legs don't move, you can't keep your hands up, that's when you're at your most vulnerable. And we saw what happened at the end of that 12th round in the first fight. Yeah, we know that Joshua can be dropped. We know that he can be hurt. And if Usyk comes in at a good weight, because there has been some speculation that he has put on muscle for this fight. I don't know how true that is. We'll have to wait until the weigh-ins, which will be, I guess, tomorrow. We're going to know essentially where he's at. I think if he does put on weight, he could potentially be a little bit slower, which may work into Joshua's favor. But I just feel like Usyk's been in this position many times. He knows exactly what he needs to do. This is more about what Joshua needs to do to prove that he's still relevant. He's still a dangerous fighter at the division. And it's all eyes are on Joshua. Like, literally, all eyes are on Joshua, on what he can do. He's the one that exercised this rematch. Usyk gave him the rematch. And here we are. Usyk, I mean, if you're looking at the fight, whether you're a casual or a hardcore fan, it's more like, well, we know what Usyk is. We know what he's going to do. We know exactly how he can win this fight. But what are we going to say about Joshua? Is he going to box? Is he going to come forward? Is he going to go to the body? What is he going to do when he gets hit with a two-piece? You know what I'm saying? What is he going to do if Usyk is working on the inside really well and he doesn't have a plan to counter it? It's just so many question marks above Anthony Joshua's head. And, I'm reading the comments as we go along, and a lot of people are saying, oh, he'll dip down a little bit lower this time and use the jab and try to land the right hand. And, oh, he'll make sure he'll get his power shots in better, and he'll do this and he'll do that. Well, That's a lot of speculation. That's a lot of speculation because Joshua hasn't shown that he's been able to do that. Now, Tate mentioned earlier how if you go back and watch the first fight, Joshua clearly lost the fight, but he wasn't like blown out of the water. It wasn't like he lost every single round. He had moments. He did have moments. And he touched Usyk a few times where Usyk was like, whoa, okay, the dude's got some pop. The dude's got some power. He's got some weight to him. And the thing about Usyk, though, that gives me confidence is that he doesn't get deterred. When Joshua did have his moments and possibly won some middle rounds or whatnot, Usyk came back and won 3 or 4 in a row himself. So he's not the type of guy that if you touch him, he starts backpedaling. He'll do what he needs to do if he's hurt to survive a round. He'll come back off the stool in the next round and get back to work. That's the type of guy Usyk is, and that's the type of guy that Joshua has to deal with Saturday. And so, look, man, for what it's worth, I hope to see and witness another great heavyweight battle, and I hope it's entertaining. And I don't like to be wrong per se, but sometimes I don't mind being proven wrong, especially in this situation, man. And especially in this situation, because I don't have any confidence in Joshua right now. So if Joshua comes out and knocks Usyk out, it's the one rare moment where I'm okay with eating crow. You know what I mean? Because I've been wanting Joshua to prove me wrong for a while, and he has yet to do it. And if he ends up getting knocked out himself, I'm not going to feel bad for the dude, man. I'm not. And you shouldn't either, in my opinion. The dude kind of like put himself in this position purely by himself. And it is what it is. And sometimes boxing, and well, not sometimes, a lot of times, boxing humbles you. And what's up, Quee? I see you in the building. What's good? Yeah. So look, gentlemen, we had a fantastic panel tonight. We had 78 in here for a little bit. If you guys came in late, 78 did come in here for about 20 minutes or so earlier in the live stream. We had Drew. Drew's battling a migraine at the moment, so he had to step off. But at one point, we had a fantastic panel up here, and that was the objective, working hard behind the scenes, connecting with people and making these types of panels and, just bringing the people together. That's what it's all about, man. And just one collective voice talking about boxing, leaving the bullshit at the door. You know what I mean? And it's just every time I do these Firestorm panels, I'm always optimistic that it's going to be a smooth sailing operation. But unfortunately, we did have a couple of knuckleheads in here. And it's sad because I think they literally, and this is word of advice for everybody that's on this panel right now, coming from someone that's been a part of this shit for a better part of a decade, is that there are people that, that either are infatuated with you, they're obsessed with you. If you block them from your channels and your social media platforms, they find other ways to try to infiltrate. And it's a shame, but that's what happens. You know what I mean? It's no different than me. I go over to someone else's panel and I have some troll that I blocked fucking 6 months ago pops up. And, it is what it is. So as long as we stick together, man, nothing can penetrate these walls. The fortress of Divine Sense Boxing tonight. Another time it could be stormy. The walls will not be breached as long as we stick together with the collective voice. So boxing wins tonight. We're able to come together and drop that content. And I appreciate every single one of you guys taking the time out of your night. I know we all have shit going on, families, friends, whatever it may have you. You take the time out to join me here on the panel, and it's always good. Like Stormy says, sometimes we're the ones operating, and sometimes it's nice to just sit back and just give some thoughts and let someone else do the operation. So, I hope to be on here with another Firestorm like this, at least, I don't know, a couple times a month. I will be here commentating on the fight live like I always do. And when you guys join me when I commentate the fight live, you guys know what time it is. You guys know how I do it. It's actually what I'm most known for, is commentating live fights. and it gets lit in here. We're going to have a massive fight party in here. The timing is kind of weird. It's not going to be a late Saturday night like it usually is here in the States. It looks like it's going to be like an afternoon fight, which is kind of weird for me. It's actually really shit for me because it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. But we'll get it done. We'll get it done. It's a big fight. Got to be a part of it. And I'm looking forward to having you guys. So before we close this up and wrap it up, man, go around the panel, let the people know how they can find you. You never know who is listening to you for the first time. So this is an opportunity to let them know where to find you. Feel free to drop your link into the chat. And like I said, it's all about continuing this growth as a community. So Stormy, I'll start with you.
Oh, man. Thank you again for having me on. It was a pleasure to be on here with all of you brothers here. And I've listened to each and every one of you with your creativity and what you contribute to the community, talking about this beloved sport of boxing. It was a great show. We covered some great topics and had some great comments about it. It'd be nice to do it again. Everybody can follow me. I'm right here on YouTube. Stormy B Man is my channel, and I have several shows a week that I do. I've been taking a little bit of time off the last week and a half or so, but I've just been uploading more videos because it does get a little bit exhausting sometimes putting the shows together. So, but I'm always trying to contribute something positive. So thank you again, and salute to you brothers out there, and look forward to seeing you guys again very soon.
Before I swing it over to you, before you give your final thoughts, man, Tay, I don't know what happened. Maybe you woke up from a nap or something, but we were calling on you, bro, to give your prediction of the fight. So go ahead and do that for us before we end it. How do you see the fight happening Saturday night, man?
I had to go do something. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I think it's gonna be me personally, I think it'd be a good fight. But I also see adjustments being made. As I stated before, I do see that Robert Garcia does have the backdrop on Oleksandr Usyk, but it's gonna go to see how far and much of an effect that Anthony Joshua can pull out, his bag as well. I think it's going to take more than just teaching me and showing me the things that or how to capitalize on top of a southpaw heavyweight, or where he maintained the style that Robert Garcia has been training him to fight as. It's just so many different varieties and ways about it. But I truly just feel like Usyk is just, of course, light years ahead, simply because of his feet movement going to keep him in this fight, the little feints that he does have, and things of that nature. He's also put on a rectifying 20 pounds to absorb some of those shots that he's took against AJ in the first fight. We can't forget about that. If you ask me, you look at who won the first fight, definitely Oleksandr Usyk. But when you look at the wear and tear on the bodies, Oleksandr Usyk was beat up after that fight as well. He was beat up after that fight as well. So of course, like I said before, he added those 20 pounds to absorb some of those shots. Not only that, it's going to have to question Oleksandr Usyk. Will that slow you down? Will you pick it up? Are you still going to be able to use the head feints that you were given, getting off the line that you normally do? Being able to change levels, things of that nature. So that right there would probably be a factor we just got to see. Me ultimately looking at Vegas lines and things of that nature. I don't think that this fight is going a distance. I see the fight being stopped in the 10th, 11th round.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. So another possible stoppage situation. I think I think for boxing, it would be nice to have a stoppage, to be honest with you. It'd be nice. But nonetheless. Tate, you mentioned something to me personally that you might want to. Did you want to drop some type of gym tonight?
Yeah, well, it's not really necessary dropping the gym, but I do believe that Earl Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford is coming very, very soon.
He sounds confident. He sounds confident. He sounds confident.
Look, guy, look, he started blinking.
That's how you drop
Hey,
the gym.
this is an anchor smile right there. Look.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm over here talking on mute. I seen Tate's face when he said, I'm like, okay, let me read. Let me look closer. Okay, I like the way that facial expression looks. I looked in his eyes.
Yeah,
I would call it dropping the gym, but
he ain't steered me wrong yet. I'm very optimistic about it, but all right, Tay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
because to give you guys a little bit of inside, like when I first reached out to Tay to come onto the panel tonight, he said, what are the topics? So, I told, Usyk-Joshua, and I said, we might end up talking about Spence and Bud. And he's like, man, I'm exhausted talking about that fight. And I said, yeah, I am too. Hopefully we don't have to. And so I just left it, right? And then tonight, when I hit him up to check in if he was actually going to make it, he said, you know what, Devon, I got something nice for you about Spence and Crawford. I said, what? And so, yeah. And then he didn't tell me what it was, but he literally just dropped it on you guys, man. He feels confident that the fight's going to happen soon. He may have some more details, but he's not willing to reveal it. Fair enough. All we got to know is that Tay Jones, the man, the myth, the legend, feels confident that the fight's going to happen, man.
I feel very confident.
That's why he went away from the microphone. Tay be on the move, man.
He be on the phone and shit.
Everything. He had to put his little avatar up while he making the moves and shaking.
He got a call from Bomac and shit. You never know, right? But hey, that's another Firestorm panel, obviously, that will get lit once that fight is announced all across YouTube. And I'm sure that all the big channels are going to do that. Myself, BFTB, I'm sure is going to get lit. 78 will probably construct a panel. And I mean, that's, as we know, is a mega, mega, mega fight. And it's not just legacy. It's the simple fact of it's got that Mayweather Pacquiao vibe, where people have been going at each other's throats for so long, and it's time to end it. Mm-hmm. It's time to end the talk. And when it's all said and done, and the funny thing is, just like Pacquiao and Mayweather, right? There was so much negativity and hatred and racism and all kinds of shit that was spewing out of people's mouths and in the comment section. But when the fight was done, like, that's it. What the fuck you else gonna say? Like, Mayweather won, and he won convincingly. Other than, Pacquiao hurt his shoulder and all that other bullshit. Which I pray to the boxing gods that none of that shit comes up at the end of Spence Bud fight. Like, whoever wins the fight, I pray that it's fair and square and clean cut, and there is no speculation. I want it to be Hagler Hearns, clear. Right? Epic fucking first, second round going crazy, and someone gets knocked out. Done.
As long as
that's what I would like.
As long as you keep Jack Reese and that Mora character away from the fights, we might be okay.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
For real. And that's the only thing I hope for, because if it goes to the cards, y'all know, man. Y'all know in boxing. If it's a close fight and it goes to the cards, it's like, man, we all brace ourselves and shit. So for me, I don't know. I've never really spoken openly about the Hagler Hearns fight, but I've watched it probably 1,000 times. And for me, I felt like when these two men, when that bell rang, it's like they told themselves, this ain't going the distance. Hagler said, I'm going to try to knock this dude out. And Hearns said, I'm going to try to knock this dude out. And that's literally what happened. They went in there and clashed. Right? And I hope we get that again. I hope they can relive that. I hope they both come out and say, you know what, we're not gonna take the risk of bringing this fight to the cards. I'm gonna knock your ass out. I'm gonna try to knock you out. I'm gonna empty the tank early. And so that's what I hope. And I feel like we're gonna get it. I feel like we're gonna get it. If the fight happens, I don't know why I have that feeling where I just feel like, you know, for me, not to get off into this topic, but I can't help myself. You can blame it on Tay. But I feel like Spence is already built that way. He pressures you. He steps to you. He's going to go to the body. He's going to test you early. You go back and watch a lot of his fights. He steps to you. He doesn't go on the back foot and try to box. He does no problem trying to break you down early. He implements that. So I know Spence is going to do it. Now, Bud, sometimes he boxes. You feel me? Sometimes he does box, and sometimes he does exchange. So it's more for me like, what is Bud going to do? Because he might just say, I'm going to come out here and work behind my stick in a southpaw position and fight from range because I got a longer reach than Spence. And then it's going to force Spence to really pull out his tool bag and try to break him down and try to step to him. So I just hope for the boxing fans' sake, because there's a lot of talk about, man, Bud's going to knock Spence out. Nah, Spence going to knock out Bud. Well, hopefully these two men just say, all right, we'll settle it. We'll see. We'll step to each other and let's see who's standing. That's what I hope. But we got to take Tay's word for it for now. You know, we just got to take his word for it now. He's like, drop a little drop of honey in your ear. And we hold on to it. But once it's announced, we're gonna cook it. We're gonna cook on it for sure. Kenneth Johnson, no doubt, man. From your lips to the God's ears, Divine. Absolutely. I speak it into existence. And I've been speaking it to an existence when Wilder came up short in the trilogy against Fury. I kept putting that positivity into the universe. Wilder will come back and he'll be better than ever. And for the past year, that was my message. And it continues to be my message. And here we are. Wilder's back. He's got a fight. He's training. He's looking fast. He's looking healthy. He's looking good. He's looking confident. He's looking like he's at peace. And if you put that positive energy into the universe, then these are the things that will happen. And that's what I feel. So, okay, just who hasn't gave their final thoughts yet? We brought Tay in here, so I kind of got a little sidetracked. Let the people know where they can find you, bro. First time on the panel, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Appreciate being up here with all the good brothers. Y'all can find me right here on YouTube at Just Do Boxing. I drop content daily, so if y'all ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Come join the family. Come tune in to some dope, responsible content. You know?
Most definitely. I appreciate you, man. First time on the panel.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I know you were excited about it. You were one of the first people that I hit up, actually, because we've been kind of flirting with the idea of getting on the panel together. So it's good that we finally made it happen. Yes, T, another legend, another myth, another man who stays up at the wee hours when the moon is shining above us. He's got his live stream popping. Let them know where they can find you. If they don't know, let them know.
Yo, y'all can find me on YouTube, Southern T, Boxing and Sport, Southern T, pound TWT. Appreciate you having me on the panel. I had saw the topic and I saw all these great brothers. I was like, yeah, I need in on that. So I invited myself. I crashed the party, y'all. I ain't get invited, but I had to make sure that I get involved, in this one. I did, but I appreciate you, letting me use your platform, let me bring down your property value.
No doubt, man. No doubt. You did crash the party, though. You said, Divine, I know you got a panel going. I'm on. I'm coming in. I don't care what you say. I'm coming in. So
I ain't say that.
Nah, man. But it's good to have you on. We have so many content creators out there. I try to reach out to everybody, but this is why, if you do have a channel, you definitely need to follow me on IG. That's where I'm most active, and where I'm going to announce, panels and stuff like that. And if I drop a topic and you want to get in on it, you know what I'm saying, just DM me and be like, yo, Devon, can I jump on with you and talk about this? Just let me know in advance, because otherwise, I just go live and do my thing. So definitely follow me on IG to get those updates. K-Rod, dropped in a little bit late to drop in your prediction. My man said Joshua's getting stopped. So I think he's the only person that said that's my official prediction, is that Joshua's getting stopped. Let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Y'all can find me over at KWrestling435. That's my brand new channel, unfortunately. My other channel got censored down by YouTube, but I pretty much have that channel. Like, if you guys want to go check me out on that. And then if you guys want to check me out on Instagram, it's Kieran Rodriguez like 6. And that's about it. I appreciate you for having me on.
As always, man. Yeah. Tay, if you guys don't know, man, this is our kind of like, this is our boy behind the scenes that has all the inside connections, and we all refer to our man Tay to get that inside info. Sometimes he can release it, sometimes he can't. He might be bound by secrecy. But nonetheless, make sure that you subscribe to Tay Jones, man. Tay, let them know where they can find you if they don't know yet.
Definitely on Twitter at __ Tay Jones _ on Twitter. I'm here on YouTube as well at Pacman ATL _ Tay on YouTube, and that's where you can find me.
Yep, get plugged in, guys. Get plugged in, because Tay's a guy that I always keep an eye on. When he drops different news and little secrets here and there, and drops his predictions. The thing about Tay, though, I'll let you guys know, is he does tend to drop content like a little bit later at the night, because he does work. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't get onto the live streams until about around 11 midnight, something like that.
Yeah.
So if you want that late night boxing talk, Tay's a guy that you can get plugged into to get your boxing fix late at night. So make sure you all do that. So great panel, guys. We knocked it out, man. We hashed it out. So now it's just a matter of see what happens Saturday afternoon. Y'all don't forget, Saturday afternoon. I know we all get comfortable and get into our Saturday night routine, but don't forget, it's in the afternoon, because the fight's in Saudi Arabia. It's not in the States. So make a mental note of that so you don't miss it. And it's happened many times. People are like, what? The fight just happened? Like, what? And people miss it. So my advice to you is that if you're working on Saturday afternoon and you can't make the fight, my recommendation is turn off your fucking social media. Turn off your notifications, put your phone on silent, and just wait until you get home and watch the fight. Another way is that if you do have the ability, like G5, he's able to use his phone and shit at work. If you are at work and you can tune in to commentary, then I'll be live. If you want to be at work and get your commentary, that's another option for you. But if you got the type of job where you can't be on your phone, trust me, turn off your notifications, because that's the last thing that you want. So that's my little personal information. I see, who's that? What's up, Town Business, bro? I see you, bro, man. Hey, I sent you a link to the panel tonight, man. I sent you a link, man. Hopefully we can connect soon. That's my man, Town, man. He's been subscribed to the channel for a long time. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys once again. I'm going to go ahead and close this stream. If you guys haven't hit that like button, make sure you guys do that before you leave. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Stay a part of the conversation. And also, if you want to be a part of the channel officially, become a channel member. Get some perks, exclusive content. Click that join link and get those perks, man. They come in handy, especially when I go live during fights. So that's that, man. I appreciate you guys, man, and I'll be back with the next one. Y'all stay up, stay strong, stay positive. It's your boy Divine. I'm out.